Welcome inside Royal Arena, day 4 of the IIHF World Hockey Championship. It is Russia taking on Belarus. Russia coming off 2 convincing wins, both 7-0 victories. Meantime, the Belarusians still looking for their first win at this year's tournaments. They lost to Sweden 5-0, losing to France as well 6-2. Belarus just 2 goals so far, and both coming on the power play. And Vitaly Trus making his debut at this year's tournament, 29 years of age. He was the top goalie in Belarus back in 2016-2017. And Igor Zhezhyorkin, his first start, he came in relief after 40 minutes of shutout hockey versus Austria, as Kasechkin was great. Regardless, they made the switch. He made 4 stops. So the 4th-round pick of the Rangers back in 2014, he gets his first start of this year's tournament. As we're underway, Russia versus Belarus, as the puck is swung low behind the net. Maxim Mamin racing after it, as Russia in the dark red jerseys, the Belarusians in the white jerseys with the red trim. So Mike Johnson, obviously the Belarusians in tough. They have to find a way to produce offensively, and especially 5-on-5.
That's going to be very difficult. Russia has yet to give up a goal against in this tournament. Perfect in every capacity defensively. And even though they have Zhezhyorkin getting the start today, I don't think they can take much solace in the fact that I guess the backup's playing, because they're in tough. I mean, they understand that they're going against a powerhouse that is rolling right now. Everybody's clicking. First and second line are scoring goals. Defensive guys are doing what they're supposed to do. They just got to hope for breaks and maybe try to generate some power play time, capitalize that way, and see how long you can hang with Russia.
So the second line out for Russia, Buchnevich, Anisimov, and Grigorenko. 9 points for this line. And the top line, Kaprizov, Datsuk, and Dadonov. So 2 really good lines up front offensively for Russia. As Denisov in the far corner, turnover. Oh, what a drop pass inside, nice shot. Anisimov, what a chance, and Grigorenko the setup man. And this line, they can produce, and they're buzzing early. From the slot, in front, knocked in front of the netminder as Trus didn't get through to him. And eventually the Belarusians able to clear the zone, and that's a great example, Mike, of what this second line can do.
That is some brilliant chemistry and passing between Grigorenko and Anisimov. Quick turnover here, but how about this touch from Grigorenko, drawing the defense one way, puts it right on the tape for Anisimov in the slot. And to recognize where your man is moving before you even get it is key to making passes like that. Anisimov misses just wide.
Havazulin, Tryamkin, the defensive pair for Russia, as Kaprizov has it. Top line out, he tried to get to the forehand, knocked off his puck. Dadonov for the Magic Man, wearing the C, 39 years young, Pavel Datsuk out on the ice as Kaprizov in tight. Drags, tries to jam it through as Kirill Kaprizov comes in. 3 goals, 2 assists, 5 points, and the young man, the draft pick of the Minnesota Wild, leading his team when it comes to offense.
He's relentless around the puck. You can see how much he wants it. He works active legs, quick stick and hands. He wants to pass it, but he is a shooter primarily. And almost tucks that one 5-ball on Vitaly Trus, who gets his difficult first start of the tournament against Russia.
As Pavel Datsuk to take the draw, recent member of the Triple Gold Club, Stanley Cup winner, Olympic gold medal winner, recently in Pyeongchang, and World Championship gold as well. So he joins that elusive club. And looking for another medal here, hopefully gold in Copenhagen. Dadonov behind the net, swings it through the blue paint. Kaprizov picks it up behind the goal line. Kaprizov near circle. They continue to cycle the puck, and this top line so dangerous. Swung back up to the point. Yakolev fires, broken down, and finally the Belarusians able to advance the puck. Dropped off to Makarukin, part of the top line for the Belarusians. Drads, Kidorov, and Matarukin. And really, they have a hard time when it comes to offense. Their top player, Vorobi, actually a defenseman, has 2 points, and that's the most of any player on their side. Nice drive towards the net. That's picked off by Jeff Platt from Toronto, Ontario. Has his Belarusian passport. The 32-year-old dumps it in deep.
They just don't have the puck enough against any team to generate consistent offense 5-on-5. When they finally get the puck back after defending, generally it's one guy on the rush without a lot of support around him. And unless it's a brilliant individual effort, going to be tough to generate a scoring chance that way, and they've struggled through the first 2 games they played. But this is like, we talk about this tournament in a couple different ways, but for Belarus, this isn't the game they have to win. This is the game that they want to compete in and improve. But it's, it's the France and the Austrias that they are really battling with.
And drawn off behind the net, swings it up to the point. Long shot kicked aside by Vitaly Trus. As the play continues behind the goal line, chipped along the near wall and all the way down the ice. As the Toronto Maple Leaf, Nikita Zaitsev to pick it up for Russia. The only right-handed shot on the entire roster, which is hard to believe, but they love shooting left-handed in Russia.
Mike Babcock won't like that with the no left-right pairings available.
Maxime Mamin drives it towards the net, comes to the near wall, chip back in. As Havazulin gets it deep, swung across the ice. As the second line out there, swung down to Artem Anisimov. Back up to the blue line, but Grigorenko unable to keep it in. He was backtracking. Grigorenko tries to drive it in, and Anisimov dropped at the blue line. Back to Yakovlev, who fires it to the far wall right in front of the Belarusian bench. They're trying to change up on the fly. Anisimov, he gets tripped up behind the play.
Tough shift for Anisimov. Zamboni's already been out there, Artem.
He's been on his back more than on his skates. As the Belarusians work it down low, driving front, and good opportunity as they push it towards the net. Maxim Shushko, young man we saw at the World Juniors in Buffalo. He's a great talent. 4th round pick of the Flyers in 2017, 19 years of age. He had 2 goals and 8 points and led his team in scoring, a top 3 player in the tournament for the Belarusians in Buffalo at the World Junior Hockey Championship. Swung all the way around the boards as the captain, Datsuk, fires it back in. As Gavrikov, the defenseman, pinching in behind the goal line. Kaprizov dishes off, goes towards the net. Datsuk back up to the point. Kiselich sends it across. That drive stopped by Trus and back into the corner, and the Russians continue to cycle. Dadonov looking to take that pass, couldn't. Kiselevich. Kirill Kaprizov behind the net, in front, and that jumped over the stick of Datsuk. And they continue to control. Datsuk. Dadonov towards the net. Datsuk drives. Backhand try, wraparound, scores! The captain, Pavel Datsuk. He strikes first. 1-0 Russia.
That first line putting on a clinic in the offensive zone. And it's very difficult to cover players that are this skilled if they're willing to move like this group is without the puck. Watch everyone moving around, posting up, flashing in front of the net, and then Pavel Datsuk just picks up a loose puck. But as Dadonov rolls up, Kaprizov gets a piece of it, and then that long reach, huge paddle of Pavel Datsuk's blade, able to grab the rebound and beat Trus to the far post and tuck it in to make it 1-0. Dave Lewis has seen that too many times coaching Pavel Datsuk in Detroit himself. And makes it 1-0 early for Russia.
Dave Lewis from Kindersley, Saskatchewan, the 64-year-old behind the bench for the 4th straight year for Belarus. And we've noticed Datsuk early on in this tournament, he loves to pass the puck, and I think that's why young Kaprizov loves playing with him, because he's just ready to pull the trigger. But what a nice move and a wraparound as Datsuk opens up the scoring for a 1-0 advantage as Zaitsev absorbs the check from Dukov and works it behind his own net. So the NHL Stars, man, they have started so far in the first 2 games for Russia. Bouncing puck in the slot, spinning shot as that's knocked down. And behind the net is Kablukov. Tried to drive it towards the net, comes all the way out of the zone, and again, Zaitsev is back for Russia. He'll touch it up for icing.
The conversation continues, though, and that's key to playing hockey like this. Communicating on the ice, moving, identifying where each other are, taking space, giving space, and then you mix in the supreme skill of Pavel Datsuk and Kaprizov and Dadonov, and I think we almost got a smile out of Pavel Datsuk there. He was always stoic on the ice no matter what's going on, but as you mentioned earlier, I think he's probably having some fun at this point in his career, playing in the KHL, back in Russia. Won a gold medal, so that probably alleviates a ton of pressure that Russia would be feeling in this tournament, because they really have already accomplished their goal, winning a gold with OAR. So now this is almost just gravy if they can have a good tournament here.
He had 6 assists in Pyeongchang. He's also in a Gagarin Cup, which is the championship trophy in the KHL back home. So triple gold club, maybe +1. So 4 titles all time, and what a great career.
Well, he's a Hall of Famer. That's an obvious with all that he has accomplished. Bob Airy list off the awards and accolades that Pavel Datsyuk has received. The one that means the most to me as I look at him is the unwavering respect he has from his peers. Both his teammates and the opposition look at him with reverence. And that's not what you say about a lot of great players.
Carvus let that shot go, and Sheshyorkin, who was not busy in his relief appearance. What did you make of that goaltending call?
I'm still so confused, though, Brian. Now, if you're going to start Sheshyorkin today, and it makes sense, too, because you want to get a game, and it's a game that Russia should be able to control, then why would you put him in the 3rd period of last game where Koshechkin had only faced 14 shots after 2 periods? No, unless Koshechkin's injured in some capacity, he's not tired. He's certainly going to be able to get through the game. And if Sheshyorkin is going to get the start anyways, why does he need to work late last game?
Yeah,
I don't
it's
understand
shocking.
it. I don't understand it. It doesn't matter because they're going to win all these games handily, but it just makes more sense to let Koshechkin finish the game. He had a shutout going in, and then let Sheshyorkin get the full game start that he got today.
Koshechkin had the shutout against France, and then he was pitching one as well, and then in comes Sheshyorkin. That shot is deflected high and behind the net. He came in and made 4 stops, so they shared that shutout. They have a 1-0 lead here on a goal from Datsyuk. Welcome back inside Royal Arena. Our first game here in Group A at the IIHF World Hockey Championship. Our group featuring Russia, Sweden, Czech Republic, Switzerland, the Belarusians, Slovakia, France, and Austria back up in the big tournament for the first time since 2015 over in Herning. Nice to see Korea up here for the very first time as well. As the puck is sent in deep, and Kirill Kaprizov is behind the net for Russia. Kaprizov has it knocked off his stick and gets it back behind the net. Kaprizov setting up, head up, and again he loses it. Back to the near wall, and Dadonov chips it down low. As Nestorov tries to chip it down low, sent across in front. Kaprizov, as Dadonov took a swing at it and eventually cleared and finally moved up ice by Sharangovich. They've juggled the lines a little bit here as Sharangovich now playing with Platt and Linglet, the Canadian connections on that team. Both Linglet and Platt actually getting their Belarusian visas the same day together, with Kevin Lalonde, who's not on the roster this year, but now representing Belarus.
Oh, it's nice to go through an experience like that and play internationally with a buddy or someone that you know.
Barabanov, centering pass in front. Swung back up to the point. Is that shot? Oh, good opportunity there from Shalunov. Knocked down by Truce as Shalunov continues the cycle game. Back behind the net for Barabanov to the far wall. Nice job here as Kablukov back up to the blue line. Nice job here from the 4th line, creating opportunity. Avazulin to the circle. That shot bouncing in the crease and covered up by Vitaly Truce. who fell on it just in time as the defenseman, Abazulin, was looking to get in on the offensive action.
Belarus right now is playing terrified of Russia's skill. And they get in their own end, and these are strong men that can compete physically as that puck barely gets tangled up in the jersey of Trus. But they're not moving. They're all standing stationary, hoping that they'll be able to pick off the passes that they are not capable of. They're not engaged physically. I think they're just a little worried about running around and getting beat and getting scored on.
Andronov swinging at it as he chips it, and Andronov has it. Moves it back to Kiselevich, who fires it up ice. And skating after it is Mikheyev. Behind the goal line is Mikheyev, checks it to Maxime Mamin, who takes a bit of a push up top, but he continues to cycle and gets that pass behind the net. Mamin back up top. Gavrikov able to keep it in.
There you see the right-handed shot in the point, though. It is more difficult for Gavrikov to keep pucks in on the point on his backhand. Proficient at it, but it's harder.
And a penalty to come, so Russia about to go in the power play, and it is a dangerous power play. Extra attacker out. Sent down to the half wall as Kiselevich back up to the point. Grigorenko sends it across. Up there with Gavrikov. As Grigorenko gets the pass on his stick, fires it, he just whistled it wide. What a chance for Grigorenko in sight. Kiselevich picks it up at the near corner. As Maxime Mamin tracking towards the net, back to Kiselevich. Sends it across to the far circle. Work down low. Mamin has it to the far wall. Back up to Gavrikov. As they continue work, Mikheyev steps away from Hazman. Gavrikov, long shot. Trus has it. As they whack away, Grigorenko is looking for a rebound, covered up, but Russia to go on their very dangerous power play when we come back.
Team Belarus, player number 51, 2 minutes for holding.
Stepan Filkovsky, he is a bear at 6'7", but he put the bear hug on, so he's in the box. Is the 21-year-old Filkovsky, who played in the OHL in Ottawa and now the AHL's Ontario Reign. The LA Kings AHL team, he's in the box, so power play time for Russia, and they come in 3 for 4 in the power play. The #1 power play in the tournament, and the top guns are out there, led by Pavel Datsyuk, who has the puck on his stick. Back up to Abazulin. Abazulin takes the shot down low, chipped, and that was Shulinov. Back to Datsyuk. Shulinov. Abazulin. Pavel Datsyuk. You know he's going to pass it off. Abazulin. That shot didn't get through with Kaprizov in front. And you know that young man is just waiting to shoot the puck. Kept in. Abazulin, a nice job to keep it in. Datsyuk to Abazulin. Shalunov. Pavel Datsyuk waiting, fires off the bar.
Wait a second, is that another shot for Datsyuk?
He's starting to fire the puck.
Oh, he might be unstoppable if he starts shooting it.
Datsyuk again, drop pass. Abazulin fires, and that was blocked in front. Shalunov. Bouncing puck to Pavel Datsyuk. Swung back up to the point. 55 seconds to go. Dadonov, touch pass. Datsyuk. Kaprizov, they play pass. Kaprizov, Datsyuk, boy, they could work it in front. Dadonov, fan of the one-timer. Kaprizov has it. Good pressure on this power play. Abazulin, Datsyuk. They continue to work it around. Abazulin Datsuk swings it across, bouncing puck, and Havazulin again keeps it in with 22 seconds remaining. Kaprizov setting up behind the goal line. Havazulin finally hops over his stick. Man, talk about possession, but really not any good opportunities.
Other than Datsuk bringing one off the post from distance, but that's what you're going to give up if you're going to stay nice and tight. I like that out of Belarus. Don't chase, just stay tight and compact and let Russia work it around the outside. Hope your goalie makes saves through traffic.
As Velkovsky's out of the box, Russia continues to control. Grigorenko tried to get it to Buchnevich in front. He was stripped of the puck and backhanded into neutral ice area. Nikita Zaitsev has it. He'll swing it up as Artem Anisimov starts the play. Buchnevich, New York Ranger, driving in behind the goal line. Grigorenko has it, chips at it, and it comes right to Truce, who covers up for a face-off in the Belarusian zone.
Maybe Pavel Datsuk wants to have a throwback game, let the young guys know he still has it in him as he steps into this one with a complete shot mentality. Beats the goal in Truce, but not the post, and that's a perfect example of the puck that has eyes. Velkovsky, respect, that's not a bad shot. Where the puck is coming at the goalie from a different angle than the body, especially when Datsuk uses a long stick and shoots way out away from his body. The shot blockers lined up with the body, not the puck.
Mikhaev working along the far wall. Down low to Maxime Mamin. As Mamin loses the puck. Just over 6 minutes to go in this first period. Offensive chances, Jeff Platt trying to create something. That's intercepted. And obviously the power play helps, but the Belarusians just really haven't had the puck at all. Swung across there to Mikhaev. So backhand it off.
Would not want to see the time of possession clock in this first period so far. Very lopsided.
I'm sure Dave Lewis feeling the same way, head coach of Belarus. As Platt will move it up ice. Trying to spring his man, Artur Garbus. As Garbus gets dropped in the corner, gets back up, continues to battle for the puck. Up to the line, and Denisov, though, can't keep it in, and Denisov has to hustle back as Truce will settle it down for him. Shots 9-2 in favor of Russia right now, and 1 goal from Datsuk as it's worked up ice, and Barabanov head up, puts on the brakes, and Barabanov tried to fire it in deep. Intercepted and chipped up ice as Stemkov tried to get it up for Razadovsky. Fired back in and handled easily from Nestorov as he starts to play up ice. Fired in all the way around the boards, and Kablukov working with Shalunov. Shalunov in that puck battle as he gets pushed around. Kablukov, then he gets taken down, roughed up by Kidorov as they continue to jam away around the red line and eventually chipped into the Russian zone. And here is Kidorov. Bouncing puck, and this is a brand new arena, a lot of weird bounces. The ice just went in for the first ever hockey championship in this facility. Nice drag move as Barabanov was trying to drive towards the net. Barabanov looked to get it down low, picked off. Havazulin takes the hit, and Russia controls one more time. As the head coach, Ilya Vorobiev, rolling all 4 lines, and why not? Against Belarus, give everyone some action. As Buchnevich has it, head up, fires, and that just whistled wide. He likes to shoot the puck too. Pavel Buchnevich back on it, tries to get that backhand out front. Pinned by Lizovits. As they continue to work, Anisimov trying to dig that puck loose, and the Belarusians in the skates. And again, Russia really dictating the play in this hockey game.
Said the shots were 9-2. This game feels more lopsided than the shot clock. I mean, it really is. Russia, this is almost channeling the Russian teams from the 80s where they don't ever give the puck away. They just keep playing with it until they score.
Nice hustle from Dadanov as he gets in there as Kaprizov fired it in.
There's Gavrikov, non-righty on the point, having to kick it down.
Up ahead, Sharangovich driving towards the net. Sharangovich, shot tipped and behind the net. Sharangovich ranked 51st in NHL Central Scouting for European skaters, so his name likely to be called in Dallas at the draft in June. As Datsuk on the puck, drives behind the net, in front, Dadonov's there. Kaprizov fires off the bar, rebound in front. That looked like it might have went in, but it was bar down, and play continues. Datsuk up to the point. That shot from Gavrikov knocked down. A couple posts here. It could be a 3-0 hockey game. But as our buddy Jamie McLennan back home would say, it's just a post, right? It just makes sound, doesn't count.
There's good angles by the goalie. Nothing else to shoot at.
So some...
Oh, well, they're going to go to the horn as the play is blown dead to review this play.
So we'll have a look, and you'll have a look when we return.
After the video review, the puck never crossed the goal line after the crossbar. No goal.
Welcome back to Royal Arena. So the officials had a look, and as we suspected, it was no goal. Kaprizov bringing the crossbar bar down.
What I don't understand, in the NHL, if a play like this happens, the horn will go if an off-ice official determines that the puck has gone in. So let's not waste any more time playing out what will eventually have to be racked back because there's a goal. But Belarus had the puck heading up ice. There's no need to blow that down unless you've been told it's a goal. It clearly was not. You're taking a rush opportunity away from Belarus on the chance that it might have gone in.
Long shot from distance, and Truce covers that up as Maxime Mamin parked in front.
Why would you wait until Belarus has the puck exiting the zone to blow it dead? If you want to blow it down to make sure, you should blow it right away, not give Russia 35 more seconds of offensive zone time. And then on the chance, it's not like someone was in the referee's ear saying, blow it dead, it's going to count, because one look at the replay made it clear that it would not. It's question the execution of that.
You know who we're going to ask, though, after the game? We're going to ask our boy Justin McCrank, who's a linesman in this hockey game. He's wearing 54.
Absolutely,
we'll talk to Dusty about it. The Canadian connection on this team. Right off the draw, shot, and Truce covers that up in a collision in the far circle, and right off the hop, a pretty good shot from Mikheyev.
And for the record, it was not Dustin who blew it down.
I know.
It was one of the referees.
But he'll speak English to us, so that'll help. So,
they all speak it internationally on the ice. All the referees speak English. So you can go up to a Belarusian ref, Finnish, Czech, Slovak, whatever it is. You ask them a question in English, they will answer it in English.
You just may not like what he has to tell you back.
Yeah, in any language, you might not like it. But they do speak English. That is the international language on the ice.
Face off to the left of Vitaly Truce, who has been the busier goalie by far here in this first period. Nikita Zaitsev is back as he works it up ice, and a bit of a hook there on Andronov, but he gets the puck up. As Mikheyev protecting the puck. Mikheyev tries to get it down low at Mamin, and he's hauled down. Play continues.
It's been better the last 5 minutes for Belarus. Even if their own end, they are checking harder, making it a little bit more difficult for Russia to do whatever they want in the offensive zone.
And look at it this way, if you're the head coach Dave Lewis, listen, the Russians put up 14 goals.
You take 1-0 at the end of one? I think you would.
Sharangovich stepping over the blue line. He gets hauled down as Sharangovich back up, and he continues to battle. Centering pass, and Russia picking that off, and Barabanov sends out up. Gavrikov in as he was driving. Gavrikov backhand and try to get it towards the front of the net. It's broken up. Sharangovich swings at it, and the bouncing puck eventually handled Long shot, no problem there as Charles Linglet handled it. Another shot off the bar from distance. Rebound, oh, what a stop! Shestyorkin got across and he stopped the second one. And he's kind of working out that right shoulder, but he got there in time for the save. That could have been a real nice bonus for the Belarusians in the final minute of this first period. As the icing is waved off, play continues. High flipping puck into the corner as Yakovlev and go and touch that up, and there will be a face-off in front of Truce. What a chance.
Sharon Govich had a pretty good first period, and he beats Shestyorkin clean to the blocker side, and then there's the one off the shoulder of Shestyorkin that he was working out after the fact, but to drag it through, might have caught a piece of Kiselevich's foot to fool Shestyorkin, and then the rolling puck. That's a lot of padding on the shoulder, but when it hits that hard, it leaves a mark. And you don't even know if the Russian goaltenders are on point in their games, if they're sharp, if they're feeling good, because they have not yet faced many difficult chances to be tested.
Sharon Govich also part of that Belarusian team in Buffalo at the World Juniors. He had 3 goals and 5 points. And a big reason why they got promoted from the D1 tournament to compete at the main championship in Buffalo.
He's draft eligible this summer.
Yep.
He is not hurting his draft cause in this game so far. He's been one of the better players.
Turnover inside, wraparound trying. That nearly broke through to Donov. A good opportunity. And Kirill Kaprizov at the horn tried to sling it in front. But that man with the only goal, Pavel Datsyuk, has made it 1-0 Russia. Your intermission to come on TSN and the NHL Network.
The score for the first period, Belarus 0, Team Russia 1. Shots on goal in the first period, Belarus 4, Team Russia 11.
It is 5 p.m. local time in Copenhagen, Denmark. Our venue, Royal Arena. First opened up last year, first ever events in this building, a Metallica concert. A lot of great concerts since. Justin Timberlake will come over and perform here later on this summer, but right now, it is the Magic Man, Pavel Datsyuk. You gonna take me? I'm in.
All right. Why not? Because Pavel Datsyuk was dancing in that first period. And shooting, scored a goal, rang one off the bar, past Vitaly Trus. But all things considered, down 1-0 to Russia after one, in a period where I don't even think Belarus played as well as they can. They had to post themselves. They had one good chance on Shesterkin. Belarus has to be relatively pleased with how that first period finished. Not how they got there, but the fact that it's only 1-0 is not so bad.
Shots 12-4 in favor of Russia as we begin this second period. Datsyuk, your goal scorer. Dadonov picking up an assist on his goal. And to your point, Dave Lewis, all things considered, has to be pretty happy that they're just one goal away from tying things up.
And in the last 5 minutes, they did become more engaged physically, less standing around admiring and more playing.
As Maxim Mamet, Dadonov in, oh, he fired it just wide as Dadonov was cruising in and he fired it past Trus. As Goviershin gets upended and Russia clears it back down the ice. Mikhaev pins his man in the corner. Swung loose as Denisov stretches that up. Drugs puts on the brakes as Drugs tries to backhand it towards his line to Blukov. Out there as well as he swings at it. Zaitsev swings at it too and nearly into the glove of Shesterkin as the Belarusians, a good job controlling, fired on net. And that goes behind Shesterkin up to the blue line. Fired back in by Henkel. Nisovits at the far wall, chips it back into the corner. And one of the rare times, some sustained pressure by the Belarusians in the offensive zone. Grigorenko goes to work, second line out there for Russia. Artem Anisimov tries to dig it out, and him and Grigorenko, their sticks are tied up. Nearly poked it loose. As Linglet, born in Montreal, sends it across. That shot, not a lot on it, goes into the far corner. Play continues on the near wall. Turnover, Jeff Flatt, nice little dish. Sharangovich into the backhand. Oh, what a stop, and a great save from Shesterkin. That close to a 1-1 hockey game. Sharangovich hit a post and nearly converted there. Another shot. Flatt takes a big bump in front, and Igor Shesterkin pulls it down for a face-off in the Russian zone.
Sharangovich has been the most notable forward for Belarus, and he jumps on this turnover. He's trying to sell it, but with pursuit from the backside, it's hard to convince the goaltender you want to come back to the forehand, and Shesterkin is all over this move. Hard push, nothing there. As that was the best chance for Belarus in this game. And prior to that, Andronov tied it up as a pretty good opportunity and a quick strike 2-on-1.
Sharangovich in his second World Championship. He had 2 goals and 3 points last year for Belarus as they placed 13th. Trying to improve on that, but in tough, still looking for their first win at this year's championship. Just 2 goals thus far, both power play goals, and they came against France.
Well, with my scouts hat on, I don't mind what I'm seeing out of Sharangovich against competition that is very tough today. He is eligible for this summer's draft.
Long shot from distance, chipped in behind the net. Battle continues as Garvus, and a hand pass. Garvus was trying to streak in, and congratulations to the Buffalo Sabres, obviously winning the lottery. Rasmus Dahlin, pretty much a no-doubter pick. He'll go first overall.
Yeah, they could use some good luck. You have a bad season like they had to get a chance to get a potential franchise defensive, which they need in Buffalo. They have some forwards, they have Jack Eichel, they need some defensive help, and Rasmus Dahlin will be just that, the consensus #1 pick in this summer's draft.
We saw Ryan Jankowski, longtime Team Canada employee and scout, and now with the Buffalo Sabres, and he was watching the U18s and A big thumbs up when we were congratulating him on the lottery drop. Funny story too, we were in Zug, Switzerland for those under 18s at the time. Craig McTavish, the GM of the Oilers, and they weren't the worst team that year. Remember, they dropped down to #1, and that's when they found out that they had indeed won the right to select Connor McDavid, obviously a franchise changer for Edmonton. And as the story goes, they were dancing around at about whatever it was, 3 in the morning local time, in their, you know, in the hallways of the hotel area, and very excited to land Connor, who's now representing Team Canada at this year's World Championship.
Captaining Team Canada.
And Herning, long stretch pass up ahead, and just a step offside. As the home run pass was nearly sent in for Dadonov, who assisted on the opening goal. Scored by the captain, Pavel Datsyuk.
Dadonov, I think at this point, when you're as good of an offensive player like he is, even though your team is piling on the points, I bet he's frustrated. With no goals, just 1 assist on the tournament so far, he's had so many opportunities, had the puck in the offense, and so often, and to not have scored yet, that'll irritate him.
And losing his stick, Maxime Mammon, so he goes to the old football. I guess Russia is hosting the World Cup this year, if I'm not mistaken, so a little bit of football never hurts, as Mammon was trying to kick it out of his own zone, wrapped around the boards, and Maxime Mammon has his stick back, and he tries to do it the old-fashioned way. It's easier in hockey with a stick, right, Mike?
Sometimes I made it look not the case. But this has been a really good start. 4 minutes into this second period, most of the play has been in Russia's own end. Belarus has created some icing, some turnovers, and once again we got some teammates playing against each other. Jeff Platt and Kirill Kaprizov, the guys you battle with all year long together. Now your opponents, rivals.
Akbars Kazan winning the KHL title this year, the Gagarin Cup.
Andrei Markov from Montreal Canadiens had gone back. Alex Burmistrov, longtime general for Akbars, part of that championship, which was an upset. The assumption was it was going to be St. Petersburg to win it, but they did not.
You know why they call it the Gagarin Cup?
Because it's named after Gagarin, who is the first Russian. You told me this yesterday.
The first cosmonaut in space ever,
right.
not just the first Russian.
Okay, the first cosmonaut in space.
Absolutely.
They want to get it wrong and offend him.
Yes,
but
guy.
that would have been my guess.
Jeff Platt digs it out behind the net, centering pass, and the bouncing puck as they whack at it. Mikheyev couldn't get it out of the zone. Stretched back up to the far circle as Platt's parked in front. Wrap back along the boards. Linglet out there on that line as well, and eventually Russia able to control and fires it into the neutral ice area. Linglet, a good job. Born in Montreal as he battles, and he's got it over the blue line. Linglet fires, kick stop, rebounded. Rushing in for an opportunity was Sharon Govich, who's been arguably their best player thus far. So that shake-up in this line paying off for Dave Lewis. They've been good together. In Platt, Sharon Govich, and Linglet. A little bit of energy for the Belarusians.
It's amazing what can happen when you play with the puck. Hockey gets a little bit more fun.
And Russia, tide turning a bit, they've yet to find a shot on net, so still searching as Pavel Buchnevich goes into the corner. Bouncing puck towards the net, chipped behind the netminder Truce. Grigorenko has it, swings it around. Buchnevich waiting. Buchnevich wraps it right through the crease into the far wall as Grigorenko continues to work. The second line combining for 9 points so far in the tournament. Zaitsev, good battle on the near wall as he continues to pinch and drive it behind the net. Artem Anisimov skated by it, and eventually it's Denisov moving it up ice for the Belarusians. Denisov, and then it's a hit as he lays as well. Turnover. That shot didn't get through as, again, Artem Anisimov couldn't pull the trigger. The captain, Alexander Pavlovich, flips it in, and the Belarusians go off for a full change. Stepping over the blue line and dumping in for Russia is Kablukov. In front, scores just like that, back of the net. 2-0 Russia on a real nice setup. Nice job by Maxim Shaludov, your finisher in front. And their first shot of the period, it's a goal, Mike Johnson. They lead 2-0.
That's the danger playing against Russia. One small mistake, and if you watch both Kitterov and Matarukin, both are on the side of the net. Neither one of them get back to tie up a stick of Shalunov, who's there for an easy tap-in. Good fortune.
No.
And what he's talking about right there is they have Kitterov and they have Matarukin back on the back check, ready to engage with someone in front of that. You have to identify and sort out. They both bracket the net, staring at the puck, and no one goes to the guy who's sitting right on the lip of the crease, the most dangerous player on the ice. And that's enough to make any coach shake his head.
Great pass from Alexander Barabanov as he threaded it. And a nice job by Shalunov, a Chicago 4th-round pick in 2011. So Russia, not a great start to the second period, but they'll take the score now up 2-0. As the puck is fired back down and to the right of Sheshyorkin for an icing call.
Maybe Russia can use that goal as a bit of a catalyst. You know, wake up, guys, we're not playing very well. We got to start skating, got to start moving. And good pressure here by Barabanov to get inside body position, loses the checker with a quick stop-off. Kablukov ties up his defenseman Falkovsky, and then if you're Belarus, you're trusting one of those two forwards to pick up the man in front. Neither one does. It's 2-0.
Trampkin has it as Datsuk wins the draw. Russia controls. Pavel Datsuk drops it off in the near corner for Dadonov. Trampkin at the point, long shot deflected as Datsuk was parked in front, went off him and into the corner. Another long drive, kick stop Truce. Dadonov has it near circle as he drops it off. They continue to cycle. Dadonov cutting, driving towards the net, knocked off his stick as, again, Pavel Datsuk takes a bump as he leaves it for Kaprizov. Swung to the far wall. Centering pass, Kaprizov going towards the net. That's deflected by the Belarusian defender and into the netting for a whistle as Russia leads 2-0. Maxim Shalunov from Chelyabinsk, Russia, the 25-year-old, making it a 2-0 hockey game in the second period. As we approach the 7-minute mark of the second frame, Chelyabinsk was a co-host city this year at the Under-18 World Hockey Championship with Magnitogorsk. Off the draw, quick drive, and again, Truce with a real good stop as Mikheyev let it go. Zaitsev towards the net, and that just missed. As Mikheyev had another good opportunity, bounced over his stick. In transition, Sharon Govich tries to drive it behind the goal line. Sharon Govich has it. Head up, swung down to Linglet. As Platt in front, takes a few whacks. Second line out for the Belarusians, and they've been arguably the best line. Turnover is Platt. Great job here on this shift. Maxine Mamin, near wall, little backhand as he gets it in deep. Bit of a puck race, and racing after it is Voroby for the Belarusians. Swung in front and just out of the reach of Artem Anisimov, who is parked in front of Truce. In the crease, and Anisimov nearly had a gift. Another one of those weird bounces off the boards, and Artem Anisimov nearly cashed in.
Anisimov puts the big body in front of the net, and Truce is caught off guard by the carom. The liveliness of these boards, he doesn't have his stick down solid on the ice, and he's forced to make a difficult save on Anisimov slamming it into him. Any puck that's coming back up for the blue paint, that is the goaltender's puck, but because of the lie of his stick, he almost got jammed. Slid underneath the heel.
Grigorenko off the face-off, goes to work behind the goal line. The Belarusian's able to move it up ice. Buchnevich chips it back into his own zone, and Kiselevich works along the far wall, kept in, and Kiselevich, a nice job to pick that off, and he moves it up ice in a possible 2-on-1 the other way. Anisimov, Buchnevich, and that pass was fluttering and was broken up. Good play by the Belarusian defender. And another icing, another face-off in front of Vitaly Trus.
Clean 2-on-1 with Anisimov and Buchnevich from center. And Artem Anisimov, once he crosses the blue line, he never moves the puck. He just skates with it on his stick in the same spot the entire time, making it a more easy target for the defenseman to get a stick body on. Never gave the defenseman anything to think about as he just went straight line without handling the puck.
Pavel Datsyuk won the draw, but good hustle there as Demkov got there first, fires it in, and Belarus off for a complete change behind the play. Stretched up to Datsyuk, he's gonna touch it up and chip it in. As Kirill Kaprizov is driving towards the corner, shot towards the net, picked off and fired directly into the Russian bench. It's
one way to slow him down. Wire a couple to the bench, see what happens.
Take out the top players. I don't think that's recommended.
Well, gotta be on your toes if you're gonna stand there. Ilya Vorobyev, the head coach. Seems very calm.
He's named head coach, Mike, on April 12th of this year, so a late decision replacing Oleg Snorek, who is the longtime coach. Now, Snorek was offered a consulting job with the team, and Vladislav Tretiak making that announcement. So got a few people off guard regardless. It is Ilya Vorobyev leading his team, and it's been a good start so far. When you put up 16 goals in your first 3 games and counting.
Well, with all the success that they had in the Olympics, you wonder how much he's got to step in and change. It's a different voice, it's a different personality, and that's oftentimes what you need when you change a coach. It's not so much that it's an X and O system thing. I think the Russian team is going to play the Russian style, but maybe just a different personality, talking to some of these guys who have been with the Olympic program, preparing internationally for the last year to play this past February in Pyeongchang, and just have a new, fresh idea, fresh set of thoughts for the World Championship.
Face-off change, and now going to take it is Shalunov, who has a goal in this second period to make it a 2-0 advantage for Russia. Shalunov tried to keep it in, it can't. It comes into the neutral ice area, and back to Trampkin. Trampkin advancing the puck to the far wall. Putting on the brakes there was Barabanov. Barabanov drives behind the net. Barabanov in front, scores! As the trailer touched up and buried it, Kablukov makes it 3-0.
The fourth line strikes again for Russia. Good hard work. And you watch Barabanov behind the net. Love the way that he skates. And you see how much trouble Kankel is having. Because when he opens his feet up right here, that 10-2 with both feet going sideways, when you skate in a straight line, like I did, like almost everyone does, you can control a player by controlling his hips. When Barabanov opens up that 10-2, as we call it, you lose control of his hips because there's nothing to grab onto. There's nothing to leverage yourself in against him, and Barabanov slips his way around the net. Blukov beats his guy to the front, pokes it past, but it's all set up by that interesting way of skating, which makes one-on-one coverage down low much harder for the defenseman from Barabanov.
The 17th goal of the tournament for Russia, as we have another icing call. The faceoff comes all the way down over in Herning. The United States and Germany playing in the other group. And the United States just scoring as Patrick Kane has fired to the back of the net to make it 1-0.
There you got a sense of that skating I'm talking about, where he's got his heels together, toes pointed in the straight line. You have that incredibly flexible hips, groins. And when you can do it, Jeff Skinner comes to mind in the NHL. Alf Dahlin, the original. It's a different way to skate, and it's harder to check guys along the wall when they can do it.
Nice job by the defense to get it back in deep. Second line out there for Russia. As Grigorenko goes into the corner, tries to keep it in. Nesterov swings at it. And then Nesterov gets beaten as Pavlovich, the captain, comes in. Pavlovich waits, fires, glove stop by Shestyorkin, who's had a quieter second period, but Igor Shestyorkin with a nice stop for Russia. We are through the midway point of this second period. Russia a 3-0 advantage. 2 goals here in the second period. As Russia looks for win number 3. Day 4 of the IIHF World Hockey Championship, and later on tonight it'll be Sweden taking on France in our group.
And the danger in playing Russia is how quickly they can attack. You can do everything right, and then just like that, Barabanov, a fourth line player, beats a player on the forecheck, quick pass, goal. Again, Barabanov, fourth line player, shifty down below, beats a guy in the front of the net, goal. And Belarus, who did a lot of good things for the first 7-8 minutes of the second period, now finds himself down 3.
Here's Maxime Mamin with Andronov driving towards the net. Andronov helping him out of the near corner. Tryamkin gets it down low to Maxime Mamin. He's bumped off the puck and collects it one more time. Andronov tried to fire it from the far circle, intercepted, and Korobov gets it out of the zone. Tryamkin, head up, has it for Russia, starts the play, and catching the Belarusians on a change, centering pass, and that was broken up for Kaprizov. He had a wide open cage, but the puck didn't get to him.
A nice elongation by Denisov, getting down and taking the passing lane away.
And 7 shutting down the other 7. Kaprizov, though, buzzing in that first period. Top line out there once again for Russia. Kiselevich pinning his man in the corner is Pavel Datsuk. 2 times hitting the 97 plateau in the NHL. Never hit 100 points, but won a couple of cups.
Look at that, Gavrikov pulled that puck off the wall. One hand flick so he could handle it clean and get up ice. That was crafty.
Pretty strong. Kiselevich picks it off, far circle, chips it. Oh, what a tip in front. And that stayed out, and then a collision in the net. As Kaprizov showing you a few ways he could score.
Good no call. If you're going to hammer the opposition into your own goalie, then he should not get a penalty for it. Kenkel drove Kaprizov right into Truce. The referee lets it go, as he should.
Barabanov as the fourth line out one more time. And why not? They've had a fantastic second period and hockey game for Russia. Alexander Barabanov wanted Zaitsev, and nice job from Shestyorkin. He's got to come out and play it. And Zaitsev is back. He's got it. Puck on his stick, and he moves it up the ice. Shalunov fires it towards the net. Shalunov again, quick strike, and following up on the play, that was Kablukov. Had a good look in sight, and Kablukov could not beat Truce. So we always talk about Russia's first and second lines. This fourth line, I know it's the Belarusians. They're not the strong team in this group, but they're producing confidence as well. Elevating as the second line is out. Grigorenko swinging at the puck, couldn't get at it.
Well, they're the fourth line on this team. On their club teams, they're not fourth liners. They are guys that are expected to score goals and create, and they're given that opportunity and doing it tonight. As here's the latest Kaprizov tip, and he did it on purpose. He was trying to just kind of slide his stick underneath it and carry it to the top part of the net. That is very crafty. Just a little touch. He did it perfectly, and he rang it off the post, actually, from Truce, and then he takes the cross check, which I'm not sure how that's not a penalty on Henkel, but that is very creative on the spot to think about doing that, and he pulled it off.
5th round pick of the Minnesota Wild back in
5th round.
2015, and they're getting a good one. Well, we've talked about this a few times in the broadcast. How about Pavel Datsyuk, though? 6th round pick back in 1998. Passed over in the 96 and 97 drafts, then selected arguably the best 6th rounder ever. We'd have to look back, but that's a pretty good one.
That is found money when you can get a player of any kind that plays in the NHL. The odds of a 6th rounder making the NHL for any games are very low, let alone becoming an impact player. It's almost negligible. Datsyuk certainly has been. Looks like Kaprizov has the potential to be.
Kitterov, a little bit of speed over the blue line for the Belarusians is Kitterov. Grigorenko, though, wheeling back, and he broke that up. And again, how many times have you seen Anisimov get dropped in this hockey game?
He felt that one a little bit in his lower body. He's not moving quite as crisply after that last fall.
Kitterov steals, and Matarukin out there as well. Denisov down low, laying the body. Buchnevich doesn't win that puck battle. Back up to the point. Denisov wires it around the boards, and then 2 Belarusians actually collide at the blue line, breaking up that opportunity. Here comes Artem Anisimov. That shot didn't get through just over 6 minutes ago. Buchnevich fires it towards the net as time continues to tick by in the 2nd period, and a 3-0 lead for Russia. Drodz fires it towards the net as Shestyorkin, him and Kosechkin yet to be beat in this tournament. Another one of those weird bounces, and Truss, though, he was alert, he played it. And if you're coming over from Herning when the quarterfinals begin and you got to make the trip, I mean, scouting report, yeah, scout the players. How about scouting these boards?
Very lively. They are jumping off the wall. And here's that last little tie-up when Anisimov goes down. The cross-check in the back that got him from Sushko. I didn't like the way the legs kind of split apart. I'm always worried about tight groin developing. It has been a few weeks since these guys have played a competitive game of hockey that really matters. Body's still reacting 4 or 5 days. The aches and pains are starting to go away, you hope.
Avazulin let it go, broken up, and Dronov nearly had a chance, and then look out. Here's Platt, a little bit of space, and he whistles that high and wide, and very high as it's right out of play, deflected. The speed of Platt creating a little bit here for Belarus. Welcome back to Copenhagen. Over in Herring, Derek Ryan scoring for the United States, and Patrick Kane an assist. So Kane 2 points, United States leading Germany 2-0. And later on tonight in that group, it is Canada taking on Denmark. Always fun to take on the host nation. Building should be alive in Herning, as the Russians swinging around their own zone. Havazulin works it to the near wall. Nice job as it's kept in, as Jeff Platt to Charles Linglet in front. Sharangovich, pretty good look, and it's calmly tucked into the glove of Shestyorkin, but nothing calm about this. Sharangovich, the youngster, a little bit heated after the play.
Jeff Platt bombing in there. The agitating style that he played in the KHL with, so Yakov Lev have seen that before. And this has been actually a pretty peaceful game in that regard. Not a lot of stuff happening after the whistle. Flat, no need for that run on Andronov. Again, teammates in the KHL, Andronov and Platt, so bit of a smile and off they go.
Face-off controlled by the Belarusians. Shot, bouncing puck, rebound in front, and you know, Sheshyorkin, we've seen a very small body of work from him. Obviously just came in that one period, made 4 stops against Austria. And a couple times that glove a little bit shaky in this hockey game, but he covers up.
That was not a great looking save. He was being clean on a shot to the blocker. Although you look at his numbers in the KHL for Sheshyorkin, a 1.70 goals against, pretty good. 933 save percentage. Very good. I don't care what league you're playing in. Guys are shooting the puck, they're professionals, they're trying to score. Anything over a 930 is ridiculously good. But in the KHL, for whatever reason, goaltenders put up great numbers. The backup tonight, Koshechkin, the starter, had a 931 as well in the KHL. So, despite the bigger ice, lots of defense being played in the KHL.
Koshechkin, he was the all-star in Pyeongchang, correct? He was the guy?
He was a starter, lost his first game to Slovakia actually, but then came back very strong and was almost unbeatable the rest of the tournament.
Zaitsev tries to clear, picked off, and eventually cleared down the ice, and Korobov back for Belarus. He'll touch up for another face-off in front of Sheshyorkin. I mentioned earlier the U18s and Magnitogorsk and Chelyabinsk are one of the best Russians all time from Chelyabinsk. Sergei Makarov, a 9-time Soviet leading scoring champ. Remember when the Calder back in 1990, they changed the rule and he beat out a real good player that year, Mike Modano.
Yeah, he was about 27 or 28 when he won it. Maybe more than that. But he was, of course, part of that famous green line.
Yep.
Krutov, Larionov, and Makarov. You know, one of my all-time best memories of my childhood is the 1987 Canada Cup. Canada-Russia, the 3 famous games, all were 6-5. Many people still cite that as the greatest hockey ever to have been played. Game 2, I was there. Double overtime, sitting glass beside the bench. I have Mario Lemieux's stick from the game as a 12-year-old.
That's pretty cool. And things you remember, right, that stand out to you. And, you know, for a guy who had a great career in the NHL, and you remember Lemieux's stick in that moment, it's special stuff. Scrambly play continues in the Belarusian zone, fired around the ice. And nearly too many men on the ice. That actually might have been. I think Russia got lucky there as they were changing. A player jumped on. Back up to the point. That shot didn't get through from Trampkin. Back to the near circle. As it looks like a power play right now for the Russians, and the Belarusians are desperate for a change. Whacking at it was Dukov. Play continues, and Havazulin can't keep it in. It comes all the way down the ice, and then finally a much-needed change as Trampkin is back for Russia. Under 4 minutes to go in this second period. We're at Royal Arena. A great venue, Copenhagen, about 1.3 million people in the surrounding area, and we've got some great crowds so far. Beer garden's right outside, and Royal Beer is the sponsor of this building. Here's a turnover behind the nets, and Maxim Shushko played for Owen Sound back home in North America. Teammate of Aiden Dudas. Aiden just represented Canada at the under-18s. And Shushko a chance to play with the big men here at this World Championship. Kaprizov back for Russia. As he assesses the situation, his line mate's changing ahead of him, so he'll drop for Trampkin and he'll go change himself. As Trampkin pinned along the boards, tries to get it in deep. Puck battle continues, and a bunch of bodies flying as the fans getting the wave going inside Royal Arena. Scrambly play continues as Gavrikov picks it up. And Gavrikov starts the play up ice. Swung across to Vuchnevich. Vuchnevich on point. And that's kicked aside by Trus at the far corner. Fired back in around the net by Yakovlev. Picked up by Grigorenko. As Grigorenko will backhand it into the near corner as they cycle it around. Artem Anisimov pokes it up to that far circle. Grigorenko drops back for him. Zaitsev at the point as well. Dished across, that's a bad pass picked off, but a nice job there from Kiselevich, and that's going to draw penalty. So Russia to go on the power play as they control. As Andronov swings it back all the way around to Zaitsev. As the Maple Leaf head up. Moves it back to the blue line. Andronov behind the net. Out front, that shot a weak one. And finally touched up, and with 1:30 to go in the second period, Russia back to the power play.
Belarus just caught in their own end, running around, tired, heavy legs, and Denisov picks up a tripping penalty. There's Kiselevich. Turns the puck over, and Denisov fly by it. I don't know what he's upset about. That is about as textbook a trip as you can imagine. And so Russia, who came into the game 3 for 4 on the tournament on the power play, get another chance in this one.
So Vladimir Denisov in his 10th World Championship for Belarus. He is in the box. Pavel Datsyuk to take the draw for Russia. And it's poked out of the zone, and now a foot race is the captain, Alexander Pavlovich, who has a goal in this tournament for Belarus. Pavel Datsyuk stepping over the blue line, sends it across in front. Nice direction there as Kaprizov directed it towards the net. Trus makes the stop. Havazulin changing up with Pavel Datsyuk. Havazulin sends it far circle. Datsyuk, oh, I thought he pulled the trigger. Of course not. He continues to pass. He had a wide open net to look at. Datsyuk. Kaprizov parked in front. Datsyuk backdoor, it hopped over his stick.
Yes, he's going to shoot the next one. Even he realizes he should have pulled the trigger.
So they continue to move around with 38 seconds to go in the period. Pavel Datsyuk waits, fires, scores! What a shot! Pavel Datsyuk, power play goal. His second of the game, it's 4-0.
Pavel Datsyuk realized the first attempt was such a good pass from Shalunov, and he didn't take it. He was irritated, so he said, you know what, I'll switch sides. We saw him ring the exact same shot off the post and out in the first period. He's got that long stick, long paddle, and the shot blockers are having a hard time lining up with it, as is the goaltender looking through all the bodies. Datsyuk goes posting in, and that's him apologizing for the previous non-shot. My bad.
Should he really ever have to apologize?
If I'm the guy passing it to him for an empty net, I'm like, come on.
Pavel Datsyuk. So then what does he do? He just snipes top corner for his second of the game.
I'm not getting an apple on that one.
He's played in over 40 games at the World Championships for Russia, and he's over a point-a-game player. 2 goals in this hockey game. He loves to pass the puck, but a couple beauties. Russia back on the attack as that was in front for Barabanov. Fired back in. So again, that deadly Russian power play connects one more time. Spinning shot, and Shalunov just missed. 5 seconds to go in the period. Maybe one last shot here for the Belarusians. Fired and stopped and handled by Igor Shestyorkin. So a nice period for Russia. And the captain, 39 years young. He's feeling young. Your intermission to come with Mark Rowe and Bob Erie. It is day 4 of the IIHF World Hockey Championship. We're inside Royal Arena. It is game 1. Our coverage of Group A, Russia, Belarus. All Russia so far in this hockey game. They lead the shots department 22-10. Pavel Datsyuk, 2 goals in the hockey game. Maxim Shalunov also scoring. Kablukov added up. You got a 4-0 hockey game. And not a lot that Vitaly Trus can do when you're up against that kind of offense, Mike Johnson.
No, it's kind of been a workman-like game for Russia. They haven't played well by any stretch. They haven't been as engaged. They haven't been as physical, as intense as they were in the first couple games. And yet they are still up very comfortably 4-0. The game has never felt in doubt from the moment the puck was dropped. And there are going to be games like this in this tournament. I played it at one time. There are going to be games when you know you're the better team where if you show up, you kind of will win. Even though the coaches hate it and they try to drive home the message that that is not the case. And I think Russia feels a little bit of that in this one where they're not their best, but it's going to be more than good enough.
Andronov, a good battle as he gets it down low. It's picked off by Denisov. Vladimir Denisov. And they'll retreat and send it back. So the Belarusians in tough in this hockey game. It's chipped towards the net, no problem from the Shestyorkin. Couple bars in this hockey game, a few posts as Buchnevich is on it for Russia. He moves it into the neutral ice area and picked up by Voroby, the only player on Belarus to have 2 points in this tournament thus far. And
they've only got 2 goals, so
yeah,
hard for many of them to have more than a couple points.
Nice turnover there, but the backhand from Sharangovich. Shot from distance, and that's kicked aside. Sharangovich, Linglet, and Platt, that line. A few good glimpses for Belarus and coach Dave Lewis. As Grigorenko picks it off, sends it behind his own net, and Russia changing on the fly as Tramkin has it behind Igor Shestyorkin. Be curious to see what Russia does going forward with the goaltending situation. I'm assuming Kosechkin will carry the mail as they play some tougher games. Obviously, they'll wrap up group play with Sweden. I look forward to that one, that defense against this offense.
And the other thing to start monitoring now is the results of the second round NHL playoffs. Because as teams start to get eliminated, other players become available, and we know the history of players coming over here as late as for the semifinals or the final. Where Matt Sundin one year, I think he flew over for the final only. The Swedish television company provided a private charter to get him there for the final. Alex Ovechkin, of course, famous for coming over last minute. Switzerland, with Nashville out, could be getting some reinforcements. So these rosters are not yet finalized. With Nashville out, Switzerland can now call on Roman Josi.
Yep.
They can call on Kevin Fiala, Yannick Weber, and you get guys like that in lineup, you give yourself a better chance to compete with Russia and Sweden and all that they are bringing to this tournament. So there will be some shuffling. Also San Jose losing out, Timo Meyer for Switzerland. They'll be placing calls to see if any of those players are interested in coming over. And that makes a big difference when you can add that kind of high-end talent.
And for Canada, maybe Marty Jones. He was a backup to Mike Smith in 2015 when Sidney Crosby was the captain in Prague and they won that gold medal.
McElhaney and Kemper in net for Canada. You have to think they wouldn't mind having another option, someone of the caliber of Martin Jones. Maybe Matt Murray could be over as soon as tonight. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how these things shake out because it is only a 2-week tournament, but it feels like a long time, and a lot of things can change as they go.
Well, that year in 2015 where Canada won gold, that was an all-star team led by Crosby as captain as he joined the Triple Gold Club that year. Ovechkin flew over. I think he was injured. I don't even think he was 100%. He came over for the gold medal game, a gold medal game that Team Canada won.
Well, you know, if Washington ever happened to go out, Kuznetsov's available, Orlov's available, Ovechkin's available.
To the point, long shot, glove down. That was a real nice rip from Tramkin.
Although at this point, I have to think that even the Russian Federation, this Russian team wants Washington to move forward. They want Ovechkin and his guys to have the chance to finally play in the third round, which they have not done in his time with the Capitals.
Russia putting up the offense at will, it seems, so far in this tournament. 18 goals in their first 2 games in 2 periods as we're approaching the 3-minute mark here in the third period.
Ranked second in the world. They probably get the ideal schedule. They start off with some of the lesser teams in the group. They're going France, Austria, now Belarus, the 3 worst teams that they could play, and then progressively get more difficult as they go, ending with Sweden.
Jeff Platt to the point, shot deflected, didn't miss by much. As that's sent across, and the pass is picked off from Denisov. Putting on the brakes is Artem Anisimov. Gets the pass back of the blue line. As that's fired in around the net, and that line hoping to change off, and jumping on was Yakovlev. Tried to pinch in. Yakovlev back to play it, swings at it. Sharon Govich now has it as Sharon Govich will flip it in. Bouncing puck, and a bit of a collision from 2 players as Lisovits falls down, gets back up. Kaprizov tries to dig it free for Tatanov. Goes to the far wall, and racing after it is Gavrikov. Couldn't get there in time, shipped into the neutral zone area as Kaprizov tried to advance it, swings at it. Kind of a choppy play, and finally down behind Shestyorkin. Pavel Datsuk, the backhand, Kaprizov. One thing I loved about that young guy too, and they were just giving it to France, 7-0, and he's just hungry for that 8-0 goal.
Yep.
This goal scorers, they just want to keep putting it up.
And some people might say, oh, that's just being selfish and padding your stats. No, that's being a goal scorer with a goal scorer's mentality, and not everyone has it. Everyone loves to score goals, but I didn't have it. I didn't feel like that. I'd just be playing out the string, but guys who want to score every time they're out there, that is a skill and a good one to have.
Barabanov in the corner. Shalunov, Barabanov trying to work it, bouncing puck right in front of Truce. He's going to cover up for a face-off. How many goals did you score in the NHL?
120 maybe?
Maybe, or do you know exactly?
No, I don't.
Usually guys know exactly how many they score.
I don't.
Usually.
I
You don't?
don't?
Okay. Now I got to look it up.
Not enough? Can I say that?
Sure.
I was a pass-first guy. I generally got about 2 assists for every goal. So I listened to Wayne Gretzky's Hockey My Way video when I was 8 years old, and in that video he said assists were as good as goals. I learned later in contract negotiations that's not the case.
Tipped in front, scores! Lovely tip in front of the net. Maxim Mamin, Russia continues to roll.
That's a really nice look. Zaitsev zipping a pass to the high slot. Mamin coming across, presenting a target, opening up the blade and chopping it up and over Truce. Mamin continues his solid tournament. Win the face-off clean. It's a give and go. He drops it and then goes with the flow of play to the center of the ice. But I like the way he presents his blade. He wants it right there. And Zaitsev puts it right there. And again, it has to be the right velocity. Too hard, you can't control. Too soft, you can't cut it enough and maintain the arc. Nice look from Zaitsev to set up Mamin.
Maxim Mamin had his first full year in North America, AHL in Springfield, then with the Panthers as well. And he's made it a 5-0 hockey game. So what's the over-under in your opinion? I mean, they put up 7 in every game. They get over 7?
No.
Okay.
I'm taking the under.
Taking the under, fair enough.
They feel like they're not quite as engaged in this third period to start.
By the way, you scored 129 goals in your career. 4 in the playoffs.
Well, I was close. Still, not enough. Also, still applies.
What stands out to you, Mike? You played in this championship in Russia 2000. What stood out to you, that experience?
For me, when I was growing up, is when the World Junior Tournament kind of was coming of age in popularity for Canada. and I was nowhere near on the radar ever for any Hockey Canada related events, but I grew up watching my peer group star at that tournament and really have those, you know, defining moments. And so that's where I kind of got enamored with playing for Canada, wearing that jersey, having a chance to represent your country. And because I was not part of any under 17, 18 programs, that's what I remember. I remember getting a jersey. I get a Canada jersey with my name on it. And we were playing in St. Petersburg, and my parents, both of them, came to Russia. Made the long trip from Toronto to St. Petersburg because they wanted to watch me play, which they always want to do, but they also appreciated the chance to wear my country's jersey with pride, playing hockey, competing with, you know, guys who've done the same, like Vladislav Tretiak, the all-time greats, and have moments against countries like Russia, like Sweden. That's what I remember. You know, I wish we'd won. I wish we'd tried harder in the bronze medal game. We had kind of emotionally checked out because we were so upset about losing the semifinals. I wish I had a medal out of it, but playing for your country is what I remember most.
Grigorenko drops it off, shot from distance, and that's kicked and comes all the way out of the zone. And you know, it's funny too, sometimes the phone stops ringing, and you know, life's pretty short.
Yeah, I would advise any young player, if you're healthy and you're asked, you should go. It's an experience you will rarely regret.
Russia,
that,
good
and
pressure.
then rooming with Todd Bertuzzi. I roomed with Todd Bertuzzi for 3 weeks, which was an experience of its own.
We'll carry that on for the next show as I'll continue to call the hockey game. Belarus trying to get some offensive pressure going as they work at Lisovits. He fires. Stop from Shestyorkin, kicked into the corner as Lisovits tries to get it down low, and there is Gavrikov working to the far wall, sprung up to Grigorenko, puts on the brakes, tried to dance in, but he's going to take a change instead, so he fires it in deep. He'll change off with his teammates. As the top line steps out there for Russia, Demkov swings it to the far wall. Demkov, pretty good speed, but that's worked up ahead, and here comes Kaprizov with the captain. Kaprizov fires, scores! Kirill Kaprizov, it's a rout, 6-0 Russia.
You just talked about his wanting to score goals. Who's he on the 2-on-1 with? He's on the 2-on-1 with Pavel Datsyuk, who has 2 goals, who has gifted him backdoor empty netters. And look at him laughing because he knows what you're supposed to do in a 5-0 game when you're going on a 2-on-1 with a legend. First of all, the pass from Dadonov to Datsuk's ridiculous. But he's got Datsyuk. You got to force feed him the puck the same way there he was force feeding it to you when you had 2 goals in the first game. And I love barely a token look off on Datsuk before he snipes over the shoulder. A really nice shot, showing his goal scoring prowess again. But I just love the attitude. Everything you just mentioned reflected in that exact sequence. Just about anybody would pass that puck, even if it's the wrong play, even if it's a bad play. And Kaprizov, not head down. Sorry, Hall of Famer. I'm going to just try to grab this one myself.
You're just mad because now they're working on the over-under that we just bet on. So Barabanov
fantastic.
Back to work. He's looking for Shalunov as the 4th line out there now for Russia. Yeah, the Minnesota Wild draft pick. Minnesota's got to be pretty happy when this young man winds things up for the Wild. Centering pass in front, that shot off the side of the net as Truss got a piece of it and kicked it into the corner. Havazulin tried to dig it out as Platt swings it across. Yorby, as the Russians changing behind the play, it's affected, and the Belarusians will reset in their own zone. Sent up the ice. Razadovsky chasing in. Razadovsky. Zmet Vandronov, who drops him. And the puck bounces into the neutral ice area. Belarusians get it back in deep. So a 6-0 advantage. And pretty much status quo what we've seen so far in this tournament. Russia, a lot of offensive weapons. And then some physical play.
Wow, that's out of nowhere. Kenko coming in with cross checks and slashes on Mikheyev.
We've seen some real good physical battles. And Some from rivalries not usually expected, but it's been a lot of fun in our group and some competitive games in our group, and then a few games like this.
Well, there appears to be 3 weaker teams in Group A. Belarus, Austria, and France. And if they're going to play a Russia or a Sweden, they're going to be in tough. So we've seen that play itself out, but in that middle pack, Czech, Swiss, Slovak, Sweden, those have been compelling games.
And we get a chance to look at Sweden later on tonight, our second game on TSN NHL Network, as they will take on France. As Buchnevich tries to chip and chase, that's picked off. And if you haven't seen Sweden yet, a great chance to look at not only their forwards, Rickard Rakell's having a tournament so far, but a real deep blue line with some NHL firepower.
Yeah, top 2 pairs are Ekman Larsson and Adam Larsson. Hampus Lindholm, John Klingberg. Those are 4 high-end NHL defenders.
So through the midway point of this third period, Jeff Platt racing in, has Sharon Govich with him. Comes back to the point. Vroby fires it around. Luikov picks it up at the far wall. As Dykhoff swings it down low for Platt. He's stripped of the puck. And Russia starts it up ice. Led by Kaprizov. Dadonov head up. Dadonov couldn't keep it in the zone, so Russia has to reset with Havazulin back in his own zone. Pavel Datsyuk, 2 goals in the hockey game. Maybe now Kaprizov will feed him.
I got mine, so now I'll worry about you getting yours. He probably will.
Datsyuk in. Datsyuk passes, fires, and that's high and wide and misses everything. The trailer, Trampkin. Let it go. Not even close. Same goes for this score. It's 6-0. Welcome back to Royal Arena. 6-0 Russia leading, and you look all time at Russians. Evgeny Malkin, the all-time points leader in one tournament for Russia. He had 19 points in 2012. They won gold when it was in Helsinki and Stockholm. And the all-time leader, you want to give it a crack?
In one tournament?
No, overall, like all time. That was, so Malkin is in one tournament.
One of those Makarovs, Larionov.
Ilya Kovalchuk.
Of course.
81 points. 34 goals.
I want to talk about a guy who likes to score goals.
And then
looks like he'll be returning to the NHL.
Yep.
He wants to come back.
So Russia continues to hold in the offensive zone. Barabanov behind the net. Barabanov tries to step into the slot for a shot. Shalunov cutting in. Shalunov fires and whistled that wide. Just over 8 minutes to go in this third period, as that's picked off, and Maxim Shushko drives in, the 19-year-old, battling down low with Pavlovich, the captain, as that swung behind the nets, and Havazulin swatting at it. Battle continues in the near circle, as Razadovsky was dropped. Gets it again behind the net. Razadovsky being watched there closely by Kablukov. Russia changing. Putting on the brakes there was Matarukin. Puck is swung behind the net as Kasalevich can't clear it. One-time shot, knocked down, rebound in front, and a player brought down, penalty to come. So the Belarusians now to go on the power play. Nice job from Razadovsky in front to draw that penalty shot. And that hits a teammate in front as play will be stopped, and that hurts. So a holding call, and that's number 7 in front. That was Denisov who felt that shot, and Havizulin's going to the box.
Tangled up right here. Havizulin trying to protect his goalie. There's a loose puck available, and just grabs onto Belarus player, knocks him over.
All right, Mike, so time for your glass half full.
Yep.
There are 2 goals in the tournament, both on the power play. They're 2 for 8.
Yep.
Opportunity here.
Yep.
Captain is out. So we'll see if they can get head coach Dave Lewis some momentum going into their next game. They'll take on the Swiss on Wednesday.
Nobody wants to get shut out. Nobody wants to get shut out. They're always happy to spoil the party, even in a lopsided win. Grigorenko.
And there's a player down behind Truce, and that's Vorby, who has 2 points, leading his team in points. The defenseman's down.
See the blood coming on the ice right there. He's bleeding out of his mouth as he got tangled up with Grigorenko behind the net. Watching that again. What got it? Was that a shoulder up in the face? Or was it his own stick?
And did he leave his feet, or you're okay with that? He was just sort of muscling.
I don't think he left his feet.
Just sort of playing the body.
It was pretty high. The referees, any contact to the head is illegal in this tournament. There's no full body hit. There's no incidental contact. Any head contact is against the rules. And so the referees are getting together right now to talk this over.
On the left there, that's the Canadian, Dustin McCrank, the linesman. The refs are Finnish and Swedish.
He's bleeding out of his mouth. He was contacted in the head. I think this should be a penalty by the international standards. And Mikko Kuakuri is going over to the bench with Dave Lewis, talking to him, explaining what their decision is. I don't think it was a malicious intent. I don't think it was particularly dirty or anything like that. Just a little shoulder up high to the face of Vorobiev.
Dave Lewis is 4th straight year behind the bench, and he played in over 1,000 NHL games. Coached Detroit, Boston, 135 wins behind the bench in the National Hockey League. Belarus finishing 13th last year, Mike. Their best finish was 6th back in 2006, and they've been in tough. So face off to the left of Truce. Russia controls. With under 7 minutes to go in the 3rd period. Russia shorthanded now and streaming into the forehand, trying to tuck it in, and a good offensive opportunity for Barabanov as Truce shut the door, and a good chance they're shorthanded. 1:24 to go in the penalty.
Barabanov's been good in all these games. He uses his speed very nicely. Cross and drop, little pick. Trying to get the defender standing still and not willing to take the easy route in behind the net. Barabanov takes it in front. And the key one on that path is you have to take an angle where you will not just run right into the goalie. That's the responsibility of the offensive player, and Barabanov did that. A couple assists on the night. Truce has had enough of Barabanov in and around his crease.
Face off to the left of Vitaly Truce, who's making his debut at this tournament anyways. As the 29-year-old getting his first start for the Belarusians, and it's been tough no matter who's been in net for Belarus, as Platt plays it behind the net. As Velkovsky will start to play up to Platt. He swings it all the way across the ice. And driving back is Kiselevich for Russia. Under a minute to go now in that power play for Belarus. Puck battle is won. Swung back up to the point for Velkovsky, who's a big body on the back end there. 6'7" long shot. And goes to the left of Shestyorkin. Back to Velkovsky. Again, fires, missed. Bounces behind the net. Picked up by Goviershin. Volkowski settles it down. Long shot, and that was broken up. And another opportunity here. Gavrikov in, shorthanded, stopped by Truce. And Gavrikov's going to hustle off and go off for a change with 20 seconds to go in the penalty. Spinning away is Korobov. Tries to reset. Denisov to Linglet. Linglet advancing the puck up ahead. Swatting at it was Drozd, and again, he couldn't drive successfully towards the net. Cleared again. Penalty comes to an end as Havazulin is out of the box. He goes off for a change as we hit the 5-minute mark here in this third period. Russia in control at Royal Arena. Welcome back to Copenhagen. Brian Mutrick, Mike Johnson with you. And Mike, I was reading a couple of reports on Twitter online that Nikita Gusev may still play in this tournament. He was a star in Pyeongchang for Russia, so there's a chance he could play.
As if they need any more firepower as they're about to put up their potentially third straight 7-0 game. Gusev was incredible in the Olympics. He was a dynamo. He plays exactly like Artemi Panarin. And so if you're going to add that guy to this duo, who are both having nice tournaments, 6 points through 3 games for both Kaprizov and Datsuk, then Russia would be that much more dangerous.
His rights traded to Vegas, if I'm not mistaken, back home in the NHL.
He was initially taken by Tampa, and then as one of those take somebody else, Vegas took Jason Garrison.
Zaitsev fires, bouncing puck in the crease, and it's cleared out of harm's way as Dadonov was looking for a chance. Datsuk picks it up. Dadonov swings it back up to Zaitsev. Gets it to Dadonov. And it's not a power play, just looks like one. Swung across in front, tipped, and Dadonov was trying to direct it on, had Datsuk with him. Nikita Zaitsev tries to keep it in and can't.
It'd be interesting how Vegas responds with him, because he's certainly good enough, Gusev, to go over and play in the NHL. And so to take Jason Garrison and his big contract, they got Gusev as well. Now Gusev plays in the KHL with Shipachyov. Vadim Shipachyov, who Vegas signed, it did not work out. He eventually returned to Russia after getting sent to the minors. He didn't want to go to the minors. They had too many defensemen they didn't want to waive, and it became a bit of a thing. So if Gusev's in Russia saying, line mate, teammate, friend, Vadim Shipachyov, what do you think about Vegas? Should I go? Despite the great, incredible, mind-blowing run that Vegas is on, I don't know what kind of scouting report he would get, because 31 teams would want Gusev on their roster in the NHL. He's that good.
Well, in the Worlds, he was behind Panarin and Kucherov in scoring, and then at Pyeongchang, he led the team in scoring, 4 goals, 12 points. So, and you got to watch him a lot. So that'd be a nice addition offensively for this Russian side, as you mentioned, whether it's the NHL playoffs or just adding players. That's one of the key things to keep an eye on as this tournament gets deeper.
You're allowed 22 skaters and 3 goaltenders. You don't have to fill up the roster spots if you don't want. You cannot have 23 skaters and 2 goalies. You have to have 3 goalies, a maximum of 22 skaters. So teams leave lots of spots available for these late additions. If you can bolster your lineup with a playoff exit NHLer, or maybe a guy who's injured, who's coming back, or something's going on, teams are especially the European teams, are always willing to add their high-end guys. Canada doesn't really do that anymore. Canada doesn't really add players after the tournament starts. They figure they have enough good NHLers that they can draw on, and out of respect for the guys who commit the whole time, they don't want guys losing their roles and their jobs to guys coming over for the last 3-4 games. So not so much in Canada, but virtually every other country, really good players become available, they bring them over.
Well, you mentioned the Caps. I mean, it looks like, but you never know with the Penguins, but Burakovsky's another name, a guy who could come over.
Yeah, but he's been injured the last little while. I don't know, if you're dealing with an injury, you'd be as likely to, but if you're healthy.
So, I mean, Sweden, a little bit of firepower up front.
If Nashville were to get eliminated, Forsberg, Arvidsson, Ekholm, and you go on and on.
It's fun for us to talk about it in a 6-0 game.
Well, but make no mistake, these conversations are being had by the team's management groups. They're watching the playoffs carefully. They've been tracking through the team or the player or the agent the level of interest in these guys. There are no surprises. The only question really at this point is guys' health at the end of a playoff run.
And speaking of health, it sounds like one of the nice young stars in this tournament, Martin Necas, he was roughed up in overtime when Harden did the glass, and he didn't have to leave on a stretcher. They brought it out, and it sounds like he went to the hospital, was checked out, but hopefully we'll see him, and it sounds like we will in a couple days at this tournament. As we have a 2-on-1 for Russia in the dying stages. Drop pass in front, that backhand. Nice effort, but stopped as Kablukov, and the fourth line getting rewarded here with some time. Kablukov couldn't bury that backhand.
It sounds like Necas and the Carolina fans will be happy to hear this. There was no concussion. He was not knocked out. No significant shoulder injury. He was suffering from the GBS, the general body soreness, which would make sense. It was like a car crash he went into the boards with. So,
well, the broadcasters even feel that at a tournament like this, usually by the second week, not the first, the second week.
No, so
I've been over here early for the under-18s too, so I'm doing double time. Nikita Zaitsev drops it off. Final minute of play, and the top line.
Gotta get it to Datsuk. He's got
for
two.
More. Well, why not, right? As that's broken up, and unfortunately, the Magic Man. But Kaprizov, a nice job. Hey, he hustles, gets it down low. Dadonov behind the net. 30 seconds to go. Dadonov, head up at the blue line, swings it across. Abazulin, the defenseman, behind the goal line, drops off. Weaving, Datsuk, Dadonov in front, bouncing puck, cleared out with 12 seconds remaining. Maybe one last chance for the Belarusians.
I love it though. Datsuk kind of turned that over, looking for a pass in front. He dug in on the back check, 6-0. That's why he's great.
Set the example, right? Especially if you're a young guy getting to play with Kaprizov on the top line. And another shutout, and this time Shestyorkin earned it start to finish. He gets the shutout. Russia undefeated this year at Royal Arena in Group A.
Ladies and gentlemen, the best players of each team will be awarded with the official watch from Tissot, official timekeeper of the 2018 IIHF Ice Hockey World Championship. The prizes will be presented by Luke Tardif, IIHF Council member, and Vladislav Kochkov, Belarus Ice Hockey Association's sports director. The best player from Team Belarus, number 17, Yega Sarangovic. And the best player from Team Russia, number 13, Pavel Datsyuk. Please rise for the national anthem of Russia. The 2018 IIHF Ice Hockey World Championship will continue here in Royal Arena tonight for the game Sweden against France. Remember to get your official merchandise today. Don't forget to visit the merchandise stand in the dance zone. Don't forget to get your tickets for the next game. Tickets can be bought at Ticketmaster's box office in the arena and in the dance zone. See you to the game between Sweden and France at 8:15. And we thank you all for an exciting game and kindly ask you to remember all your belongings as you exit Royal Arena. Hope to see you soon.
Evgeny, you get to play with Pavel Datsyuk. How impressed are you that at 39 he can still play the way he does?
You know, like he's 39, but he plays like he's 20 years old. He's probably one of the fastest skater in the team.
What makes your team such a threat?
I don't know. I think we had a good like young team, hungry to win, and so we prepare ourselves to each game.
Is the team happy with how you've progressed?
I hope so, but so we get some clips after each game, and like coaches show us what we have to fix, and like so we try to fix it.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Jeff, is it hard to stay motivated when Russia depicts a play like that?
Absolutely. We did well for quite a while of that game, and then the wheels came off. I think it was perhaps 3-0 at one point. We were in the hockey game, and everything just went downhill from there, to be honest. And then by the end of the game, it was becoming embarrassing.
Two of the tournament's favorites is Russia and Sweden. You managed to face both. Who would you put ahead as number one?
Sweden, I think, quite definitely. They play very different styles, though. I just think the overall level of Sweden is higher. They've got some world-class defensemen in which I don't think Russia can match up to.
In a game like this, what can your team learn?
I think we can learn and take things from the first period. We competed very well. We created opportunities, and even in the beginning of the second period. So if we can remember essentially maybe 30 minutes of the game and forget the rest, it'll be a good stepping stone for the games going forward.
Thanks, Jeff, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.